nothing else matters. My feet in the stirrups, I'm so happy. There's nothing like the sound of Carolina hoofbeats.
Hi, I'm Rose Cushing, host of Carolina Hoofbeats TV. From all of us at Cushing Media and my buddy Dunnett here, we'd like to thank you for watching for the past 3 years. We're very proud to be North Carolina's very first and only weekly TV show devoted entirely to the equine industry. Join us each week as we explore horse-human relationships. Dunnett and I never miss an episode, and I hope you don't either.
My name is Scott Brookins, and I am the owner of Brookins Construction and MD Barnmaster of the Carolinas. At MD Barnmaster, we have the best warranty in the business. We have a variety of designs to choose from. Our barns are easily customizable to meet your needs. We have financing available to those who qualify. Our barns are fire resistant and they hold their value with little maintenance. Let us build your dream barn for you today.
I'm so excited about this week's segment. You know, the weather's going to be cooling off soon and it's going to be time to start going on those trail rides. So I had a chance recently to go up to Brevard, North Carolina and actually take a trail ride in the mountains. And now I'm really hungry to go back and camp. So Tom Thomas, the president of the Backcountry Horsemen of North Carolina, is going to take his time and show us how to properly pack a mule or a horse for an overnight camping trip. So stay tuned because I know you're going to love it.
Hello everyone. I think you'll find that packing is a wonderful way to enjoy the backcountry for several days at a time. We do a lot of work in the backcountry and I'll be showing you our work panniers that were developed by Mike Milner in Waynesville. He's the president of Backcountry Horsemen of Great Smoky Mountains. This is Pete. Pete hopefully will cooperate with us today. And the first thing I'll tell you about or show you is he's got kind of a special halter. It leads out from the side and allows him to turn his head, but it can also put pressure on his nose when you're traveling with him to keep him up front and personal when you're packing through the countryside. And we'll have him connected. The first thing I want to mention, because it's probably one of the most important things to think about when you're packing, is weight. This is a scale. It's made for packers, and it's terribly important that the panniers on both sides, which have already been weighed, are equal. Balanced panniers are a #1 reason that packing can be successful and not have a wreck on the trail. A wreck is when a pannier goes sideways, you lose something off your pack. A wreck can happen if you get in yellow jackets. Anybody that's been on trails that's gotten in yellow jackets knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, weigh your panniers, know the weight of your panniers. Next thing is you want to have a good quality wool blanket for packing, a little heavier than you're used to. Remember, your pack animals are carrying dead weight. And you bring it up top, keep it a little higher than you need it. It won't go forward. It'll slide back, but it won't go forward. And make sure that there's no briars or sticks on it. This is a modified Decker pack saddle. And we'll bring her up and put it in place. I do want you to notice that on both sides of the mule we have panniers. These are our work panniers. They're made out of aluminum, and those panniers any kind of pannier to have. If you have fiberglass cloth, it's a good idea to put them on the front of your pack animal so they can see them, get used to them up front. These carry chainsaws, and we'll be putting the chainsaws in them later. All our safety gear, as well as a helmet. A panniard, and this is one of our work panniards, is like basically in this case, a toolbox. Other panniards, you'd say they're more like luggage. There's where you carry your tent and your sleeping bag and so on. And when you're camping and using a different type of panniard, you also have a top pack, and we'll be showing you that later. But this panniard, again, is made so that it has a safety screw for your chainsaw, and you'll see this go on later. And the chainsaw slides down the panniard like that and rides safely above the mule, and all the weight is not on their ribs. Okay, the panniards, the decker's in place. You have really two types of pack saddles, decker and a sawbuck. This is a decker, and it's a modified decker because it has bars, and I'll be showing you that in just a second. The decker saddle, it's a modified decker, and it hooks up with girths that you're familiar with. And most deckers have just one girth. This has two. Again, it's a modified decker, and it has breeching. That is a system to keep it from coming forward. Some of you use breeching when you're with your riding saddle, and that will keep it in place. A decker comes usually with 2 ropes to tie on panniards. We won't need these ropes with the work panniards. And then, of course, your straps for your girths. When you're moving around any horse or mule, you always keep your hand on their rear end. Let them know that you're in contact with them. Oh, the leather covering, 2 things that are unique to a decker saddle is you have a leather covering to protect the decker saddle itself, and that's called a half-breed. But a decker also has wooden panels on the side to protect the ribs of the horse. You don't find that on a sawbuck. And when you're carrying a heavy load, that makes it a lot easier on your pack animal. Again, as you would with your horse, reach under to get your girth. And again, the front girth goes about hands width in front of the legs, in back of the legs. And in this case, second girth is just, well, I feel that it applies a little bit more friction, keeps your pack saddle possibly more in place. But trust me on this, if you're packing 6 or 7, 8 pack animals, having one girth on a decker sure makes things easier. You're basically, if you have 2 girths, you're doubling your work. Okay, big guy. And I'm not going to take the ropes down because, well, I'll move them. Because I'll need to move them. We'll put those over there like so. Keep the ropes in the middle. Finish tightening up. Normally, when I'm going out packing, I don't saddle my horse first. I always leave the horse last, and I snug up the decker, because you know how mules and horses will take a deep breath and they'll expand their diaphragm. So when you first put your girths on, you may think they're tight, but as soon as they let that air out, it loosens. And you really want to have a snug girth on a pack saddle before you put your panniards and everything in place. So I always find it's a good idea to put your pack saddle on first, then go over, saddle your horse with the blanket and the equipment on your horse, saddlebags, so on. And then by the time you get back, your mule or your horse has moved around enough so they let that air out of their diaphragm and you can snug up your girth. Once you put the panniers on and your pack saddle, if you're using one, then it becomes more complicated to get in and do that. Okay, this one goes on this side. The reason for that is you can see this edge has been trimmed off just to make it more accessible. And it's much easier to do this with two people. I'm going to just find out how versatile I am. That's part of the reason I don't have the chainsaws on there right now. Makes it a whole lot easier for me to connect everything in a proper fashion. Also makes it lighter on the mule so I can this pannier, as you can see, has a clothes box on it. It's an old ammunition box, but this is where I keep my files, my gloves, my chaps, anything that needs to stay dry. And again, you have a place to put your chainsaw.
Hello, I'm David King with 5K Arena. This is my wife, Ivy King. We put on sorting, pinnings, and cuttings. I'm going to let my wife talk to you about the type of feed we use from Mule City Feed.
We called Paul up with Mule City Specialty Feeds about 5 years ago. He was absolutely wonderful to work with. We had a need to fill because our commercial feed had just gotten higher and higher and our feed bill was through the roof. He helped us mix a feed that was exactly what we were looking for. Our horses have stayed fat and shiny, had plenty of energy without losing their minds, and we couldn't be happier.
This was actually custom made by a metalsmith, Mike Milner, and he's a backcountry horseman. He's done this for a lot of years, and he was looking for a system that could carry 2 chainsaws and all your safety gear, being very safe for the mule or horse that you put them on, but easy access when you need to work with them. So these have been custom made, and they're just basically the L frame, all aluminum, and then we connected the boxes to it. I made the wooden box. I got this munitions box, and it's watertight, and it works out just great. As you can see, I'm using the T-bars that go across the top of a Decker. Regular Decker, and not a modified one, doesn't have the T's, so you connect it a little bit differently for that. The breeching on the back, and that's what this is the same as it does the same thing as a Crouper does on a riding saddle. Crouper goes around their tail, where the breeching goes around the backside. Gives them a little bit more support, spreads out the load more. Just remember to have your spider start just below the ridge of the back of the mule, and that's a good location. It could actually go down about 1 inch further, be fine. This is a breakaway, so when you're packing more than one mule, this is what you would tie the other mule to. And usually tie that with something that will break under a lot of force, so if one mule gets in trouble, the whole string doesn't get in trouble. So that's the way that works. We got the panniers in place. We checked the rigging. Need to get the girth in place, the chest plate in place. Never a real good idea to walk underneath your animal in case it does booger, because he has no way to go except forward if he should booger forward. And you don't want to be standing between him and a unmovable object. Okay, as I mentioned, this is a work pannier, so we're going out. I don't know if any of you have ever had your chainsaw stuck in a tree and no way to get it out, but when you're 10-15 miles back in the backcountry, you don't want that to happen. This wing nut holds it securely. the aluminum sheaths that are built protect the blade. And my mule is chewing on me. You're getting to be something else. Okay. This is a good time for me to move over, Pete. Come on. Come on, move over. Me to talk about the knot. You never want to tie a horse or a mule, you're not going to cooperate, go over there, with anything but a quick release knot. If they get in trouble, you need to be able to release them quickly and safely. The other thing that we talk about in packing is what we call a rope wrench, and it's kind of a funny name for a knife, but a lot of packers will always carry a sheath knife in case they get their mule or horse tangled up. You want to, whoops, come here, Pete. Other thing to think about is when you're working with your mule or horse and you got a lead line, you never tie your lead line to a horn. You always either hold it, now you can wrap it on the horn and throw it under your leg, and you never wrap the rope around your fingers, because that's how you can lose a finger if in fact your mule or horse bulks. You get a pretty good view of the halter now, and again it puts pressure on his nose. Back up, Pete. Show him your halter. Come on, show him your halter. Attaboy. Okay, come here. You're ready to go down the trail and do a day's work. Someone asked me about the wooden box and the slots, and I can tell you that, again, we're going to work. Whoa, whoa. And the slot's in here to carry an axe. We carry an axe, we tie it on. Again, you can see in here we carry extra fuel, oil, along the way. So, if you join Backcountry Horsemen, you know we have a system for carrying 2 chainsaws and all our equipment on a pack animal. It's so much safer than trying to do this by carrying a chainsaw in your hand, because when you're on your single horse, we do have a system to do that, and I'll show you that later on. But it's basically a saddlebag on one side and a sheath on the other to hold the chainsaw. So, but it's in the back of the horse or mule, and it's balanced on both sides. And again, it has a fiberglass sheath that it goes into to protect the animal from any injury from the saw blade. And with that, again, it's easier if you do it with 2 people. When you're packing, you can pack full bales of hay using a mani, and that's for another time and another part of packing. So happy trails, folks. And again, this is the way Backcountry Horsemen of North Carolina carry their equipment and supplies into the backcountry when we're doing work, keeping trails open and safe for all to use.
Welcome to Martin County in northeastern North Carolina, located halfway between Raleigh and the Outer Banks.
Martin County's got art.
Great shopping.
Great churches.
Great kayaking.
Great business opportunities.
Great food.
NASCAR.
Great golf.
Great medical care.
The Bob Martin Ag Center.
Safe communities.
Great RV camping.
Great nature trails.
Great history and heritage.
Martin County has great schools.
And there's great fishing. Well, there you have it. Martin County. It's all here. We're waiting for you.
With me now is Rick Calvert, and Rick is the president of the Backcountry Horsemen of the Pisgah, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his chapter and how you can become part of it.
Our chapter has about 40 to 45 members. And like any chapter or any organization, probably about half of them are real active. We've got some members in our chapter who live down in Charleston, live down in Lenore. It's about 60, 70 miles away, and they come up for work weekends. So, and then we've got a core group of about 15 or 20 that are real active and live close by the Pisgah Ranger District, which we take care of the trails. The Pisgah Ranger District has about 125 miles of equestrian trails that we take care of in conjunction with a couple of other user groups, volunteer groups, hiking groups, and the Pisgah Area Sorba, which is a bicycle club. We get along really good with the local bike clubs, and we have a lot of respect for each other. They help us out, and we help them out on different projects. One of our main jobs in the forest is we take down trees when the storms roll through, or in the springtime after a hard winter with all the ice storms we have in the mountains. We go from anywhere from about 2,500 feet up to about 4,000 feet in elevation, and usually about the 3,500 foot elevation level in the wintertime we have a lot of ice storms, and a lot of trees and branches come down. Most of us carry our chainsaws on our horse, and I made this particular rigging. I used to be a fireman, so I used old fire hose for the bar sheath, and then the Forest Service backpack on the other side that I carry my chaps and chainsaw oil and chainsaw gas. And naturally we have to use a helmet. Being authorized to use the chainsaw in the national forests, we have to go through a chainsaw safety class, and we also have to take CPR and a first aid class. We have to do that every 2 years to stay certified so we can use the saw in the forest. Also in the springtime, we go over to the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. They have a chainsaw clearing window for a month, usually about April, and we participate in that, and we clear all the horse trails on the North Carolina side of the park. And there's a couple other chapters in North Carolina that help us. North Carolina has a total of 5 chapters, from all the way down to Croatan to Bryson City, and the chapters closer to the park help out with that spring clearing. Certified sawyer in the National Forest, there are certain requirements that they want us to follow. One of we have to have a 3-person crew to go out, a sawyer and 2 swampers. Also, we have to carry a first aid kit. We have to be certified, a 2-year certification for a chainsaw, and the sawyer himself has to have CPR and first aid. What we carry in the packs is a set of chaps. We have to wear safety equipment, a set of chaps, a helmet, eye protection, ear protection, and I should have a pair of glasses on, and face protection, long sleeves, gloves. Swamper is a person that clears all the brush away and watches out for the sawyer. We have to be very aware of our surroundings, good footing, so we don't slip. Be aware of snags, which are overhead trees that are falling, that might fall. We generally don't go out when it's windy. Safety is the biggest thing we're concerned about in the forest. When anytime we ride, do any kind of work projects, we always have a tailgate meeting before and try to anticipate potential hazards that we might pop up. And then we get to the work site and actually look around the area and see actual hazards that exist. Rocks, slippery mud, like I said, fallen trees, snags. Dead trees are a big problem because the tops of them, we've had a lot of woolly adelphid that affect the fir trees in this area and in the Smokies. And the tops of the trees are dying The whole tree's dying and the tops have a tendency to fall out. So we've got to be very aware of our surroundings year-round when we ride.
If you're interested in a career working with horses, then Martin Community College is the place for you. MCC's Equine Technology program is the only one offered among North Carolina's 58 community colleges. The program is management-oriented with classes in breeding, nutrition, training, riding, equine health, and more. Graduates can leave MCC prepared to work in recreational and racing barns, breed to discipline-oriented farms, or assistant farm management. For more information, contact Martin Community College today.
Generally, the rangers like us to go out once a week, the user groups to go out once a week, but since it's more difficult for horses in the fact that we have to have a horse camp to go at, and we usually go out for a couple days in a row, camp at a specific area of the forest and do our workout of that area. We do have day work sessions, and we have to work in conjunction. We work in conjunction with other groups, mainly the bikers. We meet at the J&S cafeteria across from the airport in Nashville once a month. It's on the fourth Tuesday of the month. We have work sessions in the forest on the third weekend of the month. And you can contact us either. We have a Facebook page, which we're pretty active on, and we send out emails, and we do have a website, Backcountry Horsemen of Pisgah.
I hope you've enjoyed today's episode as much as I enjoyed filming it and bringing it to you, and thank you so much for watching.
This is Paul Dunn from Mule City Feeds. We've been delivering horse feed to Eastern North Carolina since 1981. And not only have we been delivering it, we've been leading the industry so far as compliance with state North Carolina and giving the best quality product possible. We test everything that comes in from the local farmers. We do quality assurance and we deliver the product. Give us a chance. Your neighbors giving us a chance. We'd like to have your business here at Mule City Feeds. Also, when you deal with the big feed companies, you might have to wait 4 or 5 days just to get the feed. Give us a call and you'll be shocked we'll deliver in an hour.